created somewhere around here. Let me mark it out. So this daily fair value gap, which is quite significant, price tapped into it, and then we've seen price rejected from that level multiple times. How many hour candle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the sixth daily candle that is testing that FVG. So it's a very strong region. And I'm thinking because this is because of the NFP that is coming soon. So that will give us the volatility to push either up or down. Overall, I am bullish on US30. Why am I bullish? Overall time frame is a very bullish direction. And then we've seen price fail to break lower lows. Price has failed to break lower lows, right? And seeing that, we expect price to continue the push to the upside. However, if we're going to see price violate this FVG, we have another smooth FVG just below it, which most likely we hold. Most likely it's going to hold. A sec. Give me a sec. This and this. This is another interesting area here. However, I'm seeing this guide should hold because there's another block just below it. Probably tap into that other block and then continue its movement to the up direction, right? And where are we moving to? If we swing this has been an analysis for quite some time now. This fib level, where are we moving to from this fib level? From this fib level, we are going to, we've tested 23.6 fib level. That's what our first target from the initial buy that started here. And then the next level is our 0.0 fib level, after which then once we see a bust out, we're going to extend it to minus 61.80. That's the new price discovery level we're expecting Dow Jones to go, right? However, we're seeing a kind of bearish momentum now on 4 hours time frame. What are we seeing? You can see that there's no clear indecision in the market. Market has been ranging for quite some time now. So that is all we are having on US30, even on 4 hours time frame, nothing really significant. We've been seeing a sweep of both highs and low. Price swept through this high, swept through this low, and then it's feeling, okay, did it sweep through it? Let me check. The high was 39,456.31. This high is 39,452. So it swept through this high too, right? Price swept through this previous high. Probably is coming to sweep through this low, and then we'll see that ranging continuation. See the price ranging again. So I'm looking forward to see what NFP is going to do, and that will give us a clear direction of what, in terms of technical bias, right? Fundamentally and sentiment-wise, are fundamentally bullish because this is the election cycle. And by election cycle, I mean the US, United States of America election coming up very soon. We're already seeing debates flying around. We just recently had President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump had their debate on CNN, which was quite interesting because the current president was behaving very funny in the interview. So this is what we're looking at for US30 today. Let's go to NAS 100. NAS 100 is, however, in a new place in terms of price discovery. That's already done its own entire retracement, which happened around here. And then we are in a new zone entirely. On daily time frame, we've not seen anything special, although we have a lot of void to be covered down here. So I might see it's probably push down one more time to test it and then continue. Another void is here. It's a potential level for buy to the upside if price is going to sell, right? So on 4 hours time frame, let's look at what we're having on 4 hour time frame. Okay, nothing really special in terms of we had kind of a box strategy here. Price swept through this place. For those of us that are familiar with box strategy, very clear, very obvious. Price swept through this previous high, and then what happened next? So a sharp drop to the downside, right? A sharp drop to the downside. What do we expect? To mark out our left shoulder, look for fair value gaps, and then we look for other blocks. What happened? Price tapped into this fair value gap, and then we saw a slam to the downside, right? For those that are familiar with box strategy, you know what I'm trying to say. You understand what I'm trying to say. You see fair value gap here, price tapped into it, and then it continued dropping to the downside. So we might see further drop to the downside. However, like I mentioned on the daily time frame, this is a very good FVG level that price might just tap into and then continue buying in its original direction, because fundamentally we are bullish. We are bullish in terms of fundamental. So that will be all for today on indices. It's nothing much for today. These are just clear area of interest that we have marked out. You can also mark the same level out on your chart just to see how price is going to behave around that level, eventually when markets come to that level. So we'll be taking questions now, questions, commentary. If you have any question, if you have any commentary on US30 or NAS 100, please kindly state in the chat box. Kindly make your comments in the chat box. If you have any other contrary opinion, of course, you can express yourself in this Zoom call. You can express yourself. We're about 26, 27 now. If we have any contrary opinion, we can drop it in the chat box. And if it was well understood, kindly drop an emoji so I know you got what I just analyzed. If it was well understood, please drop your favorite emoji in the chat box. I'll be waiting for you. 1 second to 30 seconds. We should do that before my colleague comes up after the short break. I'm waiting for us. I'm waiting for us. I'm waiting for us. If you have any question, do well to ask in the chat box. In the absence of no question, let us drop the fire emoji and emoji. Of course. Thank you, Adi. Thank you, Adi. I see you. So I'm gonna work with you. So this is the end of today's market color session for indices, right? After this short break, you'll be seeing my colleague Abigail. Okay, Hussein is asking a question. What is the best time? I think you mean to say, what is the best time to trade this market? What is the best time to trade the market? You see enough volatility during New York Open. New York Open is around 2:30, depending on daylight saving, right? You should read up on that. 2:30-ish. 2:30, 3:30-ish. So sometimes it shifts to 2:30, sometimes it shifts to 3:30. So that's when New York market starts, and then you can take advantage of the volatility during those windows, right? So I think that answers your question. Thank you, everyone. We'll be going on a short break. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Just about 30 to 40 minutes, seconds, right? And we'll be back shortly. Cheers and God bless.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the second part of today's market color session. It's amazing to be here. I hope we're all fine and having an amazing day so far. Today's weather is very amazing. Good for just staying in bed and sleeping. So this market color session on commodity currencies will not really be long. Not much is really going on for now. Most of the moves happened yesterday, and I myself missed them. So yeah. Good morning, Mr. Adi. Good morning, Mr. Shei. And good morning to everybody who is just joining us for the first time and those who have been joining us steady. We see you. Thank you for always being part of these sessions. All right, so let's look at AUDUSD, shall we? On the weekly time frame, what do we see? I see consecutive structures, two good morning emails, structures being formed to the downside, right? But if you're somebody who looks at most recent price action to see what price is doing, you see that at this point, we had a structure shift. Price broke above this level. And at a point, I was thinking, okay, is this going to be the retest that sends AUDUSD upward? It did that, right? But it hasn't taken out this level well yet. If you go down to the daily time frame, you see that in as much as the overall direction based on what we're seeing here is a buy move, when you zoom in, you see that we're starting to have a range to the downside. So all of these markets been choppy for a while, but at the same time still forming structures to the downside, right? So what do I want to see on AUDUSD to be sure that AUDUSD wants to continue selling? I'm going to mark out a level. I want to see AUDUSD clearly break above this with a bodily candle and not just a wick. If it breaks above this and gives me a retest, I'll most likely will start looking at sales for AUDUSD. However, looking at liquidity points and how they work, there's a level here that I'm interested in, which is right here. And this diagonal liquidity that we have marked up here, right? So the probability of AUDUSD going up to tap all of this before it drops is kind of high. So we're just going to mark this out, 50% of the FVG. And now I'm just watching. I have two levels marked out that I'm watching on AUDUSD, right? Either it breaks below here, gives me a clear entry, or it breaks above and gives me another clear entry to take the buy. On the 4-hour time frame as well, nothing much is going on. See consecutive structures being formed to the downside. However, if you choose to fib this entire thing, then you'd see that there's more buyers for AU to trade lower to get to at least the premium level before it continues buying. So let's say we want to mark out this entire swing, this entire thing from here to here, right? The most likely area for AUDUSD to sell into before it continues buying is the premium level, 50 to 61.8. That's where we prefer to buy from in a strong moving or in a good moving trend rather, right? So are we going to see AUDUSD trade in here? I'm going to keep watching. For now, there's both biases up and down. I'm going to wait till I have a clear bias on one direction and then, of course, take advantage of it. The same thing on the 2-hour time frame as well. So AUDUSD right now for me is not as clear as I prefer. So I have my levels marked out. You can mark them out on your chart as well and wait for price to pick a clear direction. And then we're going to follow what the market does, not force our way into the market. On the weekly time frame now, the sell on NZUSD is even clearer. It failed to break this level. Structure is being formed to the downside. On the daily time frame, the same thing. Structure broke below this level. Look at this diagonal liquidity that we have marked out here. So we have this marked out on NU, and our fair value gap here, which one could even argue and say price already tapped into with this candle, right? However, there's a diagonal liquidity here and we see a fair value gap here. There's also another one lower. Look at this fair value gap that is beneath it. So are we going to see NZUSD trade in here, take out this liquidity and trade into FVG, which we have here? Or is it even going to trade lower and come and change this resistance here into support? We're going to be watching NZUSD, right? But for NZUSD, the sell move seems a bit clearer than AUDUSD. So what we can be doing now that we know structure is being formed to the downside and there's still a bit more room for structure to keep going down till it takes out the liquidity level, which we have marked out, we can now go on the time frames like a 15-minute time frame and wait for retracement into fair value gaps, right? Into fair value gaps, or you fib the most recent swing on the 15-minute time frame, which is what we happen to have here. So mark this out. However, it's not a good enough time to mark out. You know, if you when you're drawing Fibonacci, you want to see relevant retracement first before you even draw it. So this might not even be a good place to start drawing, right? We could want to wait to see if price either trades below lower or start when it starts to form structure little by little to the upside, then we can now draw our Fibonacci and wait for premium levels like 50 and 61.8% level, right? Now look very close to our 50% fib level. There's a fair value gap here, which NZUSD most likely is going to retrace back into before it continues selling. So for the NZUSD sell buyers, this is a good place of interest. So just going to mark that out, mark this out and wait for price to get here. And if it gets here and breaks above it, we're going to wait for price to get to our premium levels. Remember, when drawing Fibonacci, right, we always want to, when drawing these levels, we don't just jump in when price gets to those levels. We want to see our entry patterns formed on time frames like the 1 minute, 3 minutes, and the 5 minute time frame, depending on what time frame we use predominantly to enter the markets, right? So that's it for NZUSD. On USD card now, let's see. Remember, this guy has been, I mentioned it last week, I barely trade USD card anymore. I barely trade USD card anymore, but on the weekly time frame, what do we see? We see structure. So this is still an equal high that has been formed consecutively. We know there's a bunch of liquidity lying around here, right? Structure is currently being formed to the upside. I feel this might just be the leg that will push USD card to eventually or finally break above these liquidity points that we have here. And just close to that, we have another diagonal liquidity just by the left-hand side of USD card, right? So for USD card, weekly time frame, I'm seeing more moves to the upside. On the daily time frame, as well, structure is also being formed to the upside. Didn't take out this level, we didn't take out this level, it just came here and started to form more structures. So are we going to see something like this to the upside? Are we seeing this? We keep watching to see what USD card does, right? On the 4-hour time frame too, the same thing. Structure is also being formed here. It has broken above this level. That's broken above. If it was going to keep forming structures to downside, this lower high we see here would have formed a lower low, but it didn't. It broke above, came back, broke above, came back. So we're seeing structures being formed to the upside. So for USD card, I have more bullish bias on this guy. Look at all of these diagonal liquidity you see here is what price is currently consuming. All of them that you see here is what price is currently consuming. So of course, we might see a short-term reversal because price will not just keep forming straight candles to the upside. You see up and downs, ups and downs. So we might see a short-term reversal into most likely the fair value gap, which we have here. Sorry about that. My voice is kind of hoarse this morning. So be watching to see most likely something like this, trading here and then continue forming structures to the upside. So yeah, today's market color is pretty fast. As earlier mentioned by Demola, we're going to be watching to see what NFP eventually does in the market, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have questions, you can let me know, please. Let me know if you have questions. And if there are no questions, we're going to reconvene at 3:30 p.m. Maybe by then we'll have clearer buyers on certain pairs. All right, Copa, kindly ask as quick as possible, please. What is the overall bias for BU, for EU rather? Okay, Mr. Copa, I'm going to assume you're new to the platform. So on different days, different colleagues come on board to analyze different pairs. So when I come on board, I mostly look at commodity currency pairs. When Dimola, the guy that spoke earlier, comes on board, he looks at indices. And then the other lady on the floor, Cynthia, comes to look at pairs like EU, GU, and stuff like that. So tomorrow we're going to touch on EU, Mr. Cooper. All right, so you already saw your response. All right, sir. So are there any more questions? FVG on 1 hour. Okay. Is this on USD card, you mean? Is this a fair value gap you're looking at, Hussein? Can I call you that? Let me know, please. Okay. So this FVG, right? Yeah, we already discussed it. Most likely price is going to come in here. If it trades into this level and we start to see reactions from that level, then we'll now start looking to continue buying USDCAD. But remember that we don't just jump in trades because price trades into point of interest. So I don't know what your entry pattern is, but for me, if price comes in here and it does not give me specific entry patterns, I still will not take the USDCAD buy unless I see those patterns formed. And where do they form? 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. If I see them form there, I'm going to buy. But yes, I am interested in this fair value gap as well. I'm very much interested. I'm watching it. Yes, sir. All right. Any more questions, please, before we call it a day? All right. So if there are no more questions, this is what we're going to be wrapping it up for this morning. Please endeavor to join our afternoon session by 3 p.m. It's going to be another insightful time. If this was helpful, help me leave small emoji, just tiny emoji in the chat box so that I know that it helped at least one person. Where is Mr. Ejimi? Mr. Hussein. All right, thank you, Mr. Cooper. Mr. Ejimi is going to be joining us one of these days, so stick around. He's going to come on board soon. Mr. Constantine, I see you, sir. Mr. Amos, good morning. Adi, thank you so much. All right, with that being said, thank you so much once again. Cheers, and God bless. Good